we got to just acknowledge what Baylor lost over this past few days. Dawson Pendergrass, junior running back, Mineola product, out for the season. It is a blow. It is a blow. By the way, I've got this in the headline, but Pro Football Focus says Dawson Pendergrass was the 6th best running back coming back to the Big 12 Conference this season as far as PFF grades. And Bryson Washington's number 1. So Baylor with 2 of the top 6 returning running backs in the conference. And don't sleep on what Pendergrass meant to this offense last year as far as a guy that can spell Bryson effectively, right? Bryson, probably a guy capable of being a bell cow type every down back coming out of, I believe he went to Franklin High School. But Dawson really able to spell him was so good for Bryson last season, as well as Dawson just provides a skill set that I'm not sure anybody else on this Baylor roster has. Dawson, the definition of a power back. Dawson, a guy that if it's 4th and 2, 4th and goal, that's a guy you hand the ball to and he's going to fall forward and get you a yard. He's going to break tackles. As Bear the Truth just pointed out, he's a very efficient blocker, especially in pass pro. So Dawson Pendergrass out for the season is a blow. I do not think it's a blow that is going to severely hamper this offense, but it is a blow. And we are going to be praying for Dawson as he has surgery and recovers. I know that he will come back better than ever. And frankly, coming back next season, perhaps after Bryson departs for the NFL, if all things go his way, maybe Dawson comes back next season with a bigger role. Who knows? But it does lead us to talk about this. And I already see some chatter in the comments about this. Baylor, this is why in every recruiting class, most college football coaches would really like to get a stud at quarterback, running back, and receiver. You really want a stud at all 3 spots, every class, regardless of your current roster, because things like this happen. The best coaches try to go get a 4-star quarterback every year. Try to get strong running backs, receivers every year. We've talked on the show before about how the Baylor 2026 class has 3 4-star caliber wide receivers, and that is tremendous for Baylor's offense moving forward. Baylor did this last season at the running back position. Baylor was able to secure 2 4-star running backs in the 2025 class. One of those, Caden Knighten, participated in spring practice. Reports from spring practice were strong. I heard a comparison from spring practice of Treston Ebner. Knighten is a guy that can receive passes out of the backfield and make plays on the perimeter very effectively. I assumed before this news that Caden Knighten would be Baylor's 3rd option at running back this season, and probably in a 3rd down type of role where he's coming in on 3rd down to catch passes out of the backfield, maybe a couple of draw plays. He's known as a shifty, speedy guy. He was one of the highest rated recruits out of the state of Oklahoma last year. But you might forget that Baylor also has Michael Turner on the roster. Now, I'm going to ask Grayson here in a few minutes about Michael Turner's role, but he did, as Scotty B just pointed out, tear his MCL as a senior in high school, missing most of his senior year. So he is a bit of an unknown commodity. That being said, Michael Turner was actually rated even higher in last year's class than Caden Knighten was. Baylor truly and really did get 2 stud running backs who were projected to play early in their college careers. So, can you replace Dawson Pendergrass? No. Like, simply put, there is no one-to-one replacement for him on this roster. Can you create that production in other ways? Certainly. I have been encouraged by the report that Knighten has picked up the nickname Mini Scattaboo or Little Scattaboo or whatever in fall camp. That's impressive to me because, again, the comp I had heard in the spring and what I read in his scouting report out of high school was that he was more like a Treston Ebner type. He was going to catch passes out of the backfield, be a perimeter guy. But if he's drawing Scattaboo comparisons in fall camp, that means he's breaking tackles inside the box, right? I mean, that's who Cam Scattaboo is. So I'm very optimistic about Caden Knighten able to handle kind of the ability to spell Bryson in this offense. And if a guy like Joseph Dodds or maybe Michael Turner coming off that injury can take 4 snaps a game to catch a pass or run the ball as well, I still think this is a very strong group. Now, what's unfortunate is the Dawson injury makes this group not nearly as deep, and now you're going to have to keep all these guys healthy through the season. Baylor has had injuries at the running back position galore for the last 5-6 years. I mean, I can't think of a season where a running back played through the whole season, with the exception of like Abram Smith in 21, Lovett and Ebner when they both played heavily under Matt Rule. But other than that, this is a team that has struggled to keep that position group healthy. Knock on wood. Last year was amazing. So start praying your intercessory prayers for Bryson Washington's health, but also the health of some of these other guys on the roster. And of course, we're going to be praying for Dawson Pendergrass's recovery. Let's see what some of you are saying in the comments. You're blowing up my comments about this, and I love it. Let's see. Bear the Truth says, tight end room will have to step up. More double tight end sets from Spav. I'm not so sure we will, only because I think this receiving core is going to be a strength of this team as well with Ashton back. So, and Baylor has never used tight ends very heavily. Michael Trigg, of course, it could have a special year as the number 1 guy. We'll see about that. Scotty B pointing out Dawson was supposed to redshirt in 23. And not Bryson, but because Bryson got hurt. Yeah, so Dawson did end up playing as a freshman in 2023. Remember, Dawson came into Baylor as an athlete recruit, not strictly a running back. I think he played multiple positions in high school. I think Mineola is like a 2A program. So put him at that running back spot, and he's been electric. Gabriel points out, what's up, Gabriel? I haven't seen you in the comments very often. Glad to see you. Gabriel says, we have a history of doing great with freshman running backs as well. That's true. Yeah. So Dawson, as Scotty B pointed out, Bryson as a freshman, even prior to that, when I don't know if any of you remember power back Terrence Williams played well as a freshman. Johnny Jefferson back in the day. John Lovett and Treston Ebner were both freshmen when they came onto the scene with Matt Rule. So it's a great point. Running back is one of those positions where if you really excel in high school, I don't know that the jump from high school to college is as dramatic as some other positions. Richard Reese, good call out, Gabriel. Yeah, I forgot that he was a freshman when he had his best season at Baylor too. Great call out. Man, wouldn't it be nice to have Richard Reese still on the roster right now? Anyway, I digress on that. I won't go into that. But yeah, running back's one of those spots where if you really excel in high school, the jump from high school to college is not as dramatic as, like, say, quarterback. I think the jump is probably more difficult to make, or offensive line. Certainly that jump is going to be a lot more difficult to make, putting on weight and handling much bigger dudes across from you. But I think running back, your primary skill set as a running back is your vision. So if you've got good vision in high school, that's going to translate. And then the other is just speed and strength. And I hate to say it, it's more of like that brute position where, man, if you're a tremendous athlete, you're just going to figure it out. But I think we've seen that be true for all those freshmen we just named, for Richie Reese, Dawson, Bryson. I do believe it will be the case for Caden Knighten. So did want to discuss that because that was the big story for Baylor football over this past week, and we had not gotten into it yet on this show.